Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Sheikh Hussein.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It's good to have you here today.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
How would an inclination of coming into choosing Islam come to you, and does that mean that you also need to learn other religions as well?
It's not necessary. I think it's up to every individual exposure. If somebody is exposed to a lot of religion, so it's good for them to learn about the religion that they are exposed to, and then compare. If there is a need to make some comparison, so it's good to compare between one to another. But for those who are not exposed to religion at all, so they can just go straight to a particular religion. Normally, I'm talking about a normal situation, but when you are talking about religion, because religion is something very, very abstract, something it's not easy for people to explain everything in detail. It is a belief. So my way to Islam, because I have the interest to experience, from Buddhism to Christianity and then to Islam. Because when you are hunger for the truth and you really want to seek the truth, there is always a way. And then you will feel different. Normally you feel different because you do not want to come into a religion without knowledge.
Okay, let me just introduce myself. My name is Ng Kwan Beng. Okay, that is before and after Islam. So maybe some people have been asking like, how come you didn't change your name? I mean, if we look at the some of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they have never changed their name. Example is like Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and so on. How I become a Muslim is that I have been in Christianity from young or since born for about 20 plus years, and I have been serving in the church actually for about more than 10 years, quite actively. But I have a problem that I think not only Christians have, I think quite a lot of people have that problem. That is, what is the purpose that I have been in this religion?
You see, we Chinese carry the surname.
What was the reaction of my people that's around me? Basically, they couldn't believe, that I actually converted into Islam, maybe due to the lack of understanding about this religion. Likewise, when I was not a Muslim, I didn't understand this religion, so I stayed away. So most of my friends, after knowing that I became Muslim, slowly by slowly, most of my friends actually, the non-Muslim actually, we were distancing ourselves because we couldn't understand each other anymore, because I was into Islam, and most of them didn't really like the religion to begin with, so our friendship actually, a lot of them actually got distant, and until we hardly contact each other, from really good friends, you know, to really like strangers, you know, after coming to this Islam. But alhamdulillah, you know, Allah has replaced a lot of
How long does it took you to
It really take time because I didn't came to Islam through the Quran. I came to Islam through the reading of the history of Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab. You know, because at that time in the 60s, you have hardly Quran that been translated. Most are in Arabic or in Jawi, for the Malaysian in Jawi or in Malay languages. And again, at that point of time, majority of the Muslims have the understanding that this Quran is a sacred book. So a not yet Muslim how can you read the Quran?
So well, even though I've been serving the church for about 10 years, I feel empty. So well, of course, alhamdulillah, Allah let me stay with a group of Malay and also let me know a very good friend, or which I call that he's my teacher now, one of my teacher, which actually teach me about comparative religion. He actually brings me to know about Islam, which is the similarities and also the differences between Islam and also Christianity, where he told me about the differences, similarity, and at the end, I met him actually at a talk, a reversion talk, where one of the revert he actually explained about Surah Al-Ikhlas, where he tells that God is one, he no need to depend on anything, and everything depend on him, and he is not begotten, nor he does not beget, nor is he begotten, and nothing is equal to him. Well, through this surah, it makes me realize and also found the truth, where somehow what I have been searching for about 20 plus years, I found it.
So how I come into Islam was basically I was being robbed, you know, attacked by 3 people who robbed me in my vehicle, jumped into my car, and they start chopping me, you know, with knife. So I got into quite a bit of injury, severe bleeding. I got 85 stitches in my head, scar, a broken nose. Yeah. Then when I was in the hospital, I said, Shukr Alhamdulillah, that I live. When the doctor was looking at my identity card, you are Chinese? The doctor didn't ask me. They're just pondering, who am I? You know, why I say all these things. I also didn't know because I was like semi-conscious, maybe.
Basically, as I mentioned to you, I was brought up in an all Chinese family. I went to all Chinese school. I had very little exposure to Muslims at that time. I think I had only, I don't even have a handful of Muslim friends at that time, you know. So I actually had this one good friend of mine who lives like maybe around 60 kilometers away from me. So at the time that, you know, I wanted to become a Muslim, I actually bought a wudu, how to do wudu book. So I actually did the wudu myself, and I drove myself all the way to Seraban. That's like almost an hour drive to my friend, and I told him, hey, I think you are my only one Muslim friend that I really know. Can I just do the shahada with you and you be my witness if anything happened, you know? So I was so excited that I couldn't stand it. I just had to become a Muslim. I didn't inform any of my friends and family. I just
For the new Muslim outside there is that I would say seek knowledge always, because that's the first command that is to the Muslim or to the Prophet, that is Iqra, that is you should read, you should seek knowledge, because if you were not to seek knowledge, how you would know that this religion, which is Islam, is the easiest religion that you can find.
We have our great teacher, Sheikh Husseini, he's talk about the importance being a Muslim to seek knowledge. That is the foremost important things, because if you do not have knowledge, how are you going to share about Islam to the not yet Muslim?
Okay, so what's the difference between Islam and other religion? Okay, basically I was brought up in a Buddhist family. I've learned Buddhist more than half of my life now, and I know basically the basics of what Buddhism is, and my wife used to be a Christian, and that also exposed me to that religion in Christianity. And I feel that why the main difference, I think, in Islam, there is answers for everything. If you want to search for an answer and the answer is there, and then it's so logical that the explanation you cannot deny. Most times when I read something, it's either that I don't understand deeply enough. If once I know, I understand,